What's up, guys? I wear glasses to look smart. That's grad school.
Hi, everyone. So I just want to echo Andrew's sort of gratitude, and I want to thank everyone for being here, and also thank the Korean Working Club and WHAM for putting on this great event and inviting me to have this conversation with Jay Park, whose career as a business person, entertainer, and above all as an artist, I think is quite extraordinary. How are you doing, Jay? How's Philly?
Good, Philly's good. I performed at MIA Fest. I don't know if y'all were there, but yeah, I feel like some of y'all skipping school to be here. You're pretty young to be in college.
So we asked.
Shame.
So we asked all our delinquent students here to RSVP for this event, and we had about 600 people, and so you guys are the lucky 300 that got seats. And furthermore, we asked you guys to submit your questions to ask about Jay, and in addition to some of the sort of confessions of love, like, and inappropriate questions, we also got some pretty good questions that range topics dealing with his business, your personal life, as well as race and the culture of music. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk for about 40-ish minutes, and then we're gonna invite you guys to come to the mic over there in the middle, right? And ask questions of your own that may not have been answered during this conversation. So I guess we'll start off. I'm gonna start off with a remark, or an observation, which is, Jay, you seem to be the busiest person in show business. You work in...
statement.
Well, I don't know, I made that up too. But no, you produce so much.
Yeah.
It seems like you never take any vacations. I was wondering if you could start off by sort of describing a typical day. How do you manage your time? How do you use each and every 24 of those hours?
I mean, it's not that I don't sleep or that I don't eat. I definitely, take care of myself, my health, my well-being. I definitely try to get a good night's sleep. I definitely try to eat well so that I don't get sick. Because if you're sick, you can't do anything. So I definitely take care of myself first off. I do kind of decide my own career path, and so whenever I don't have a schedule or a meeting or a show or a TV show or a magazine shoot or whatever it may be, I'm either working out, I'm exercising, or I'm in the studio creating new songs. I'm just kind of thinking of things that I could do, dots that I could put together, just because let's say I have a group of artists. So let me tell you how Hard Music came about. So I had a lot of artists that wanted to work with me, basically, from Korea and from the States. And it wouldn't really make sense to sign them all to AOMG, just because AOMG is not that big of a label at that time. It wasn't that big of a label, and also it would just be overwhelming to all the fans, to all the employees at AOMG, and to the artists as well. And so I was like, I have the resources to create a platform for these guys, a label for these guys to put out music. Why don't I do it? All I have to do is just put in the effort and the time out of my day to do it. And so that's what I did. I took meetings, I made it happen. I talked to each individual. I have, this vision. Do you want to be a part of it? They said yes. Okay, so we made it happen. It wasn't easy. It took a while to get everybody on board, and to it took a while. I mean, there's a lot of people who didn't believe in the vision that why you're doing this. You're already successful. I'm just successful. Why do you want to risk? Take this risk and do this. It's like, because I believe in it. I believe in the vision. So, and that's just kind of what I do throughout my day. It's not work. So there's no need for me to take a vacation yet. I mean, it's definitely strenuous on my mental health in my body, and it's exhausting. But it's like I really love to do this, and I love the end result. So,
For those of you that for those of us that don't know, could you elaborate on the difference between AOMG and Hire? And maybe you want to also talk about how you recently signed a UFC fighter to AOMG and kind of your plans to diversify in those ways.
Yeah, I mean, just so everybody I sign, it's people that I have some type of relationship with, like not an intimate relationship, but we're homies, or I respect them as artists. We've collaborated before, whatever it may be. And AOMG, of course, it was the first label that I started, and I mean, it turned out great. I never thought in a million years that it would be where it's at right now. I was like, hopefully we don't go bankrupt. That was my first goal, like for real, when we first started, and it just kind of grew exponentially every year. And with Higher Music, I had another group of young artists and a group of artists from the States, and so it was kind of like, why don't I already know how to do it. Why don't I kind of just continue to spread this love and this shine to artists that I respect, to homies of mine, and if I can do it, why not? Why not take time out of my day to, lend a hand? And so, I mean, the biggest difference is just, of course, the artists. All the artists. AOMG has its own color, its own style, its own. Everybody in AOMG is very unique, but I think it all comes together and blends very well. As does Higher Music. There's a lot of. I don't think there's any label out in Asia where they have this many US acts signed to it. You got everybody from the hood to just regular Korean cats. So it's like it's very unique in that manner. And as for the UFC fighter, again, it's not like I was like, oh, I made some like really strategic business plan. Like, all right, this year we're gonna venture off and do sports and make $1 million. It's like I've been going to this dude's gym. He left his agency. He's a homie of mine. He's like, yo, like I need some advice. What should I do? I don't know, business. I know how to fight, but he's not business savvy. So I was like, why don't you just sign to AOMG? We'll take care of that for you. And at first he was like, hell no. But then he came around, and here we are. And now he's fighting November 10th against the top 3 dude in the world. So yeah.
Speaking of business savviness, where did you learn these business skills? I mean, you have such a clear vision, you have such a specific type of leadership where people respect you and they actually like you. So where did you, I mean, I guess this is part of your personality, but kind of business skills, where did you learn that?
In the streets. No, so for me, it's not even about being business savvy. Like, I mean, really, I got horrible grades in school. I don't want to say that here, but I got horrible grades in school. I mean, I never really learned about business before. But for me, it's all about kind of just, human interaction and those relationships. I mean, I kind of use my influence and my power and my position that I'm at to try to elevate everybody around me and to uplift everybody around me. And that just somehow, and at that time, when I make some decisions, it's not the best business decision. If you just look at it, like if you just break it down numerically or just by statistics, it's not the best business decision at that time. But in the long run, it's like I don't know, it's like if God just got me or something, but it's just like, it just turns out to be a good business decision at the end of the day, and everything just kind of works out, like it's almost like it's destiny. So I think for me, it's funny, but I feel like if your intent is pure and like you have a good motive, like it just works out for you.
Actually, what you described sounds a lot like really successful social movements, right? When people start to believe in something and there's momentum and they buy into it, and great things happen. So I've asked you a little bit about your role as a CEO and as a leader, but you're also an artist, right? You describe yourself as a hip hop artist. I'd like you to sort of talk about how you would like to define yourself as an artist, despite how audiences might receive you, and maybe a little bit about your contract with Rock Nation.
It's a slave contract. There's song like, no, I'm just kidding. I mean, for sure. I mean, I'm definitely a hip hop R&B artist. I'm definitely a hip hop R&B artist. I feel like it's weird for me because I'm in like I'm in my own lane, but it's like it's an awkward lane, you know, because in Korea, I'm not super duper K-pop is where all the people that are really into Korean culture, they like my stuff like that. So I don't get huge numbers like let's say BTS or GD, but even in America, I'm not like, I don't have face tats, I'm not on Instagram with my friends' guns, like, I don't have like hella money stacks. So it's like, I'm in this like, I'm just Jay Park, you know, I always try to stay true to myself. I don't try to clout chase, I don't try to do things that are out of my character or that are not stand against my values and what I stand for, just for attention or money. And it even though it's like, I don't shoot to the top and get that, you know, 15 minutes of fame right away. I feel like I'm building slowly, and one day I'll get there. And even if I don't, I'm creating a lane for people who do want to do it the way I do it. And yeah, my contract with Rock Nation is you know, I don't want to go into detail about all that, but it's a good contract. Yeah, I mean, they let me do what I do, and they give me support in what I need, and they're trying to take the relationship further, and they try to, you know, manage me and do, you know, different things with me. So I'm glad that they support me.
So I'd actually like to talk a little bit about the culture of music. When you described higher music, you described its uniqueness for being global, pushing what it means to be a global cultural industry to its limits, I think. And so hip-hop obviously has a global marketplace, but the expectations for what hip-hop is supposed to look like or sound like might differ from place to place. So for example, the way that Koreans experience hip-hop might be different than people in the southeast of the United States or on the West Coast experience or produce hip-hop. I was wondering if you could maybe think about for whom you make music, or do you have an audience in mind?
I don't. I make music for, you know, first off for myself. I have to like it, you know, in order for me to put it out. And whoever gravitates towards it, you know, I definitely appreciate it. If you don't, then, you know, it is what it is. You know, you can't please everybody. Everybody's not gonna like what you do. But if at the end of the day, I'm proud of what I do and I like it, then I'm satisfied with that, yeah.
I mean, that actually sounds like what hip hop is, right? Artists sort of talk about their own experiences.
Yeah.
It's like a public diary in a way. And so a lot of questions from the audience have to do with how you identify yourself. Professor Park mentioned that you grew up in the US, but also you work and you live in Korea, you speak Korean pretty fluently. How do you, how do you navigate those two different sides of your identity, or do you see it as a completely new kind of identity?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm definitely proud of being, you know, having Korean heritage. I'm definitely, you know, proud to be born here. And I'm just, you know, it's like, I don't really try to put labels on myself. Like, oh, I'm a rapper, I'm Korean, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a CEO. Just because, like, I don't wanna ever have limitations. You know what I'm saying? I don't ever wanna just put barriers for myself where I can only grow this much. Like, I'm a rapper, so I can only do what rappers do. I'm Korean, so I can only do this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I just want to be me and take it to wherever I can take it, wherever that may be. I don't know yet. It's infinite, and that's what makes life fun, you know?
So, I do have another question, though, about cultural differences, right? So what I've noticed about Korean TV shows when I watch them, sometimes, is that entertainers, they don't really talk about their politics, or they don't really talk about like social or cultural issues as readily as American artists do. And in fact, in American hip hop, there's kind of an expectation to talk about, you know, whatever political or social issue there is. Do you keep that in mind? I ask this because I was watching one of your, I think it was Sway in the Morning on YouTube, your freestyle, which was amazing, and if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. And you said some really amazing, I think politically oriented statements, and so I guess do you do that on purpose, I guess, very simply put?
No, I mean, he asked me a question. I think I just replied. I don't remember what I said, to be honest. I don't remember what the question is. If it was that amazing, that's great. But no, I mean, definitely, I get in Korea, you definitely kind of more have to watch what you say, just because, you know, is over here you could be like fuck Donald Trump and make like a song like that and still be booked for shows and still, you know, be able to do things, you know, have a career. But over there, if you say something like that, then you better be, you know, ready for the repercussions. Better be ready to get blacklisted. So.
So I have another kind of question that we had a lot of audience members ask us. I think about 4 people asked this same question using the same words. I guess
it's probably the same person just putting.
It is.
They just wanted to know that bad.
Yeah.
We got you right here.
So the question is, how do you use your platform in Korea or in Asia and in Asian American communities to combat anti-Blackness or racism?
I think with what I stand for, what I do, it's not even. Of course, it's, you know, whenever a certain group of people is being oppressed or you're the underdog, I always root for the underdog because it's like it's just not right. You know what I'm saying? It's like. I feel like the underdog, but to have like a whole system and a whole just designed to make you fail, it's like I can't even imagine what that feels like. Feel me? So it's kind of like, of course I root for the underdog, for the people that are being oppressed, for the people that are facing injustices. And for me, it's kind of like, it's not even about being black or whatever. It's like I stand for just kind of like, it doesn't matter what race you are, or if you have more money, or if you're more famous, or if you're a girl or a guy, what age you are. It's like, I look at myself as just human. Everybody is human. So I try to give people the same respect that I want. You know, just basic human, just like, yo, like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Just because I make more money or whatever, I'm not gonna do that, feel me? So it's kind of like, I just stand for just everybody being human. Everybody should just kind of like, respect and love each other, and if you don't understand what the other person is going through, at least try to have compassion, you know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like, not everybody is as fortunate as you. There's a lot of people that are, you know, born into whatever, some crazy stuff. So it's kind of like, you just gotta spread love and positivity, I feel, you know.
So even though Jay Park thinks that way, right, which is how ideally everyone in the world would think, with that openness and respect and love for other people.
You would hope, but...
You would hope. But as we here in the US, but also what is broadly the West, we know, as people who watch TV and listen to music, is that there aren't a lot of Asians or people that look Asian, right, represented in sort of any kind of cultural industry, really. And so other audience members were wondering, what do you think it will take for Asian Americans to be considered as serious cultural producers in America or in the West?
Are you talking about like the entertainment industry, or?
I think since you're an entertainer, it would make sense for you to talk about the entertainment industry. But of course, you know, like, there aren't a lot of art historians, for instance, that look like me either. So maybe just broadly, if you can talk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, to be honest, there's like, in the entertainment industry, I think there's slowly, people are kind of catching on. Like, I don't know if you guys know who Aquafina is, but yeah, she was like in Ocean's 8, she was in Crazy Rich Asians, and I heard Crazy Rich Asians did like some crazy number like in the box offices. So I feel like there's definitely, you know, a market, and I think it's just kind of like, the powers that be, or whoever, the gatekeepers, they just have to get hip to it, you know what I'm saying? And you know, that's why Jay-Z signed me, and it's kind of like, with him signing me, kind of puts different eyes on me, so maybe other people will get influenced by that and try to look for, you know, another dude like me, even though I'm one of a kind, but you know.
So I have another question related to hip hop and sort of Asian hip hop. I know that you described yourself as a singular, your own person, but one of the frustrating things for me, Jay, is when I listen to Spotify and I make a song radio off of like one of your songs, it'll lead me to the songs that pop up are other K-pop songs, or other, not that you're K-pop, but other Korean pop songs that actually don't seem to fit in with your music. So I was wondering maybe if you could talk about where you see Asian hip-hop in the next 5 or 10 years.
I don't know, I'm not a fortune teller, so I don't know, but hopefully, I think it's like, it's grown a lot, like in the past, I think 5-6 years. Even in China with Rap China, even in Thailand with Rap of Thailand, I heard hip hop is just all the craze right now in Asia. And you know, you got 88 Rising killing it in the States, and then you got, you know, like Dumbfounded and Aquafina and Yax and J Park and whoever else is out there killing it. P-Lo, Stupid Young, whoever, you know, so there's definitely just a lot of people that are making moves that are kind of putting on for, you know, Asian hip hop, and I think in a few years maybe we'll see like the first Asian hip hop artist that will like be a huge star and be like Drake or be like Kendrick or Cole or whoever. Yeah.
So I have a question. Why do you, obviously I have a question, I'm sitting here asking you questions, but
I have an answer, so let's get it.
What do you think it is about the genre of hip hop that is that people just fall in love with, right? I mean, you know, so hip hop started off as a Black cultural form, but not everyone understands that lingo or understands that language or even understands those experiences. I guess, you know, I'm not asking you to be a fortune teller or to sort of look into everyone's hearts and minds, but what is it about hip hop for you that drew you to the form?
I feel like, you know, in society it's kind of like they kind of tell you what you can't do. You're not supposed to do this. They put a lot of limitations on everything. You're not supposed to dress like this. You're not supposed to say this. They try to censor you. They try to kind of tell you what you need to do, what you should learn. You know, you need to be successful. In order to be successful, you need to make lots of money. You need to buy a good car. You know, whatever it may be. You know, like you need to do this and you can't do this. But I feel like with hip hop, it's kind of like it gives you self-empowerment. It gives you the freedom to say what you want, express what you want, be rebellious against what you don't believe in, stand up for what you do believe in. And so I think that's very appealing. Who doesn't want to feel empowered? You know, who doesn't want to feel liberated? And also it's kind of like there's different things. It's like, you know, especially if you're going through tough times, you know, a lot of people, they express it to get their story out because everybody wants to be loved and acknowledged. And so people who are not loved and acknowledged, they put it out their music and they experience that love with, you know, the music and acknowledgement. And yeah, I feel like that's what makes, and also it's like, you know, if you kind of take it like to a kind of more trendy, like shallow part of hip hop, you know, it's a good way to like flex and, you know, I have girls and I have money and I have the bling and that, and kind of makes you feel cool as well. So there's a lot of different facets, I think.
Yeah, there's something validating about listening.
Yeah, definitely. It makes you feel good. It makes you, you know, sometimes it touches your heart. It makes you feel inspired. It makes you feel, you know, there's a lot of different levels and different layers of hip hop, and I think that's what makes it so fun. It's always evolving. There's so many different forms of it, and that's what makes it just very attractive.
I want to go back deeper in your past and ask you about sort of what were your favorite songs or albums or artists who kind of, I know you started off as a dancer, but there must have been a track or something.
It's stripper, not dancer, but I definitely Michael Jackson. I mean, who wasn't influenced by Michael Jackson? You know, the greatest entertainer alive, and I feel like his music, a lot of the messages in his music, like we are the world, we are the children, or doesn't matter if you're black or white. He has a lot. Of course, he has like a lot of just kind of like, you know, just fun things you can dance to. But if you look at his music, and it's just like, he was really trying to change the world. He was really trying to change the world. He always had a message in whatever he talked about. And I feel like that's just, if you are at a level of that influence and power, you should use it for good. You know, you kind of do have a duty to, you know, use it for good and for positivity. So Michael Jackson for sure. Usher, of course Usher, just because I just thought he was so cool when I was younger. I bought a CD. He had like no shirt on. He had like a basketball, and it was just like.
It was why you take your shirts off every time.
It literally is. So I'm kidding. I kid you not. Usher, I remember it. I remember this very, very vividly. Usher said, "If you want to be a pop star, you gotta have abs." I was in 6th grade. That night, I was like, literally, I was trying to get abs, like, just because it's like. I don't know why, it's just like I didn't want to be a pop star, but I just knew that all the girls like Usher, and I wanted all the girls like me, and so that's when I started, anyways, Usher, and I love his music, and just his smooth dance moves. He's a great singer, great artist, and of course Tupac. A long time ago I loved Tupac just because, his music was dope. I gravitated towards his passion and his rawness and his voice. It sounded cool, but as I got older and I started to understand just what he was talking about and what he was about, he was kind of, he was similar to Michael Jackson almost, but in a very different form. But he was really trying to change the world as well. His interviews are so inspirational. He's always talking. He's like, I don't get it. Like, how can motherfuckers have 10 cars and am I allowed to cuss? Okay.
Yes.
How can motherfuckers have like 10 cars and 30 houses and there's still people living in the streets and they're starving? I don't understand it. I don't understand it either. It's like, how can people have 10 to 50 trillion dollars and there's still people that are starving? It doesn't make sense to me. So it's just the fact that he was saying all that at that time. This was like 25 years ago, 30 years ago. It's like Tupac was one of a kind as well. Yeah.
Are there any artists that are currently, Usher is still living and performing, but like current artists that you like to work more with? I know you've worked with Big Menta.
Yeah, I do a lot of collaborations. I do, whether it be, people from all different types of, countries, to people with a lot of followers, to people with very little followers. I just like to, kind of share knowledge and share, kind of learn from each other and see if I would do this, I would sing it like this, what would you do on here? And I get the verse and it helps me grow. And it's fun to me, it's fun. So, whoever's down to work, I don't like to waste my time, so I don't like to chase people yo, please, let me get this feature, let me get this feature. I don't like to really do that. So it's like, if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. I'll just get someone else to do it. It doesn't matter how big you are or whatever. If I can get you, cool. If you're not to do it, if you don't fuck with the music, then just don't do it. Let's not waste each other's time.
I have a question to ask that actually came from someone else. I did not write this. But one of our audience members wanted to know, what are some of the challenges within the music industry, including pricing pressure from companies like Spotify and Apple, and also where do you see the industry headed, not in terms of trends, but in terms of actual numbers and the business itself?
Just some of the obstacles in the music industry? Is that what you're saying? So with me, a lot of the things I face is kind of like, when I first started just kind of making my own music, I started working with a homie of mine. He's from my B-Boy crew, Art of His name is Cha Cha. This was like 9 years back. And Cha Cha was unknown back then. And so people were like, when I started working with Cha Cha, they're like, why are you working with Cha Cha? No one knows who Cha Cha is. You should work with these bigger producers. So there's always a pressure, like you have to, since you are who you are, you have to get these numbers and you have to, be, so what is successful in terms of music when you put something at sales, right? So you have to get a certain amount of sales, like even all the fans or your parents or your company, your label, they always want you to get a certain amount of sales because of who you are. But with me, it's kind of like, if it sells, it sells. That's cool, of course. So who wants to be, who wants to do bad? Who wants to do poorly? But if it doesn't, it's fine. We'll get it next time. That's kind of my mentality. Like, if this one doesn't hit, at least we like it. At least we're proud to let y'all listen to it. If y'all don't fuck with it, cool. We still fuck with it. Maybe you'll fuck with the next one. And we just keep on putting stuff out because this is what we do. We enjoy it. We're not, of course, it's a business, but you know, business, we're humans first, artists second, and business is last for us. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like we just do it for fun. Like we don't let, you know, the numbers and what the consumers are into. Of course we you know, we take it in like, okay, oh, this is what they're messing with. Okay, maybe we could kind of formulate it into our own style so that's still true to ourselves. You know, we're never gonna do something just for the sake of getting a lot of sales. You know what I'm saying? There's a balance. We have to find that balance. Like, okay, this represents us, but I feel like the consumers will fuck with it too. The listeners will fuck with it too. All right, let's do it. I feel good about it. Hopefully they'll feel good about it. If they don't, at the end of the day, we're still who we are. We didn't sell ourselves short. Yeah.
So basically, at the end of the day, it's your opinion that matters the most to you.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, you know, everyone in the world can love it, but if I don't love it, I'm gonna feel horrible about it. And if I feel bad about it, then, you know, it doesn't really matter how many people love it, you know.
So, is there anyone whose opinion actually matters to you then? I'm asking this in a very serious way.
Everybody's opinion matters. It all matters, you know. What my, you know. But I'm a very stubborn guy. You know, that's how I got to where I am, going against the grain, going against what everybody said. Everybody's like, yo, you should do it like this. I'm like, no, I don't want to do it like that. I want to do it like this. And I kept on pushing and pushing and pushing. Here I am today. So, I mean, it's kind of like everybody's opinion matters, but I'm not going to let it sway me. I'm not going to let it control me and pull me this way and that way.
So I have a two-part question to ask, and then I'm going to ask audience members to line up at the podium so that you can, in a single file orderly line.
For sure.
But okay, so my question for you, my last question for you, Jay, is what do you think are your biggest misconceptions about Jay Park, both in Korea and here in the US? What are the biggest misconceptions that you'd like to address here?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've been around for so long, and I put out so much music and kind of like, I'm very kind of active on social media and whatnot. I don't really think there are misconceptions. Even if there are, I honestly don't really care. Cause you know, it's like at the end of the day, I'm me. You know, if I can look at myself in the mirror, then I'm good. So I honestly can't answer that. I don't know what the misconceptions are. Maybe you could tell me better than I can.
I don't know, I'm just...
Do I look like an asshole?
Well, no. No, but I guess, okay, so I think this is something that you said where, you know, there are just some people that don't, like in the US, that just don't know what you're about, right? They're like, you're in K-pop, right? What about BTS?
But I can't expect everybody to know what I'm about. You know, it's like, I have, you know, unless they do their research, but not everybody gives you the courtesy to do research on you, you know, and I don't expect, there's so many things to do in this world. I don't expect you to look up everything Jay Park is about, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's kind of my job to keep on, you know, pushing and to show them what I'm about, you know, and if they catch on, they catch on, if they don't, they don't.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Just come up to the mic and go for it.
Handsome man in the glasses. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm a freshman, and my friend.
What's your name?
My name is Seungjin.
Seungjin?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my friend, he's a rapper, and he kind of blew up back in South Korea.
Okay. What's his name?
Noel.
Noel? Oh yeah, I know him. Yeah.
And back in high school, me and I and two other friends, we used to rock, and we used to like hang out all the time. But after he blew up, you know, like the fame and the money, like kind of changed people.
Yeah.
And what advice can you give to me or you to him? You know, to maintain the friendship that we used to have and, you know, go back to where we used to be.
Dr. Phil. So, no, but you know, it's like, bro, when you're young, of course, all of a sudden, when your life changes, when you hear all these comments like praising you, like, oh, you're the best, and you make money, and you can buy this and that and everything you wanted, it can get to your head. You can feel like, yo, I got the world in my palms, I can do whatever you want. But you know, if he continues that attitude, well, I don't know how he is. I've never met him before. But if he continues like you know, if anybody, let's just say, if someone continues that attitude, they're gonna get a reality check. They're gonna get a reality check. So with me, it's like, money you can always make back. Money, you know, I don't get attached to money and fame and all this because it could be gone in an instant. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really mean anything. You know, it's like money you spend, you can make it back. But you know, time you can't make back. Time you can't make back. And the type of person you are, you can't get that back. So it's kind of like, I feel like just relationships and how you are to other people, I feel like that's the most important thing. And you know, it's like, you guys are still young, you guys are what, like 8? So I mean, you guys will mature and definitely, you know, there'll be like an epiphany. There'll be an epiphany, and if you continue to see him be like that, then you just gotta let him know, bro. Like, bro, like, you know, I've been holding you down for, you know, however long, bro. Before all the fame and I've been supporting you, bro. Like, remember that. Don't forget that.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Hi, I'm Alex.
Yes, sir.
I'm a PhD student in sociology.
Okay.
My question is sort of about identity, sort of getting...
Identity?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I was, you know, you've worked with Jay Rise, and he's talked about, you know, the difficulty of being Asian American in rap, particularly being an Asian American male, and what the expectations are for that.
Yeah.
And I've seen your interviews of, you know, Sway, Ebro, Vlad, and I think particularly the ones with Ebro and Vlad, a lot of focus was like on you being Asian American.
Yeah.
And less about the music, which is what you were sort of there to promote anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So it seems to be like some kind of like exotification, right? Like, oh, like who is this Asian American?
Yeah, definitely.
In this you know, space. So I guess I was wondering, like, do you feel I guess how do you navigate that, and do you feel like at a disadvantage at being an Asian American man and like now signed to Rock Nation and, you know, trying to make a name for yourself here?
Yeah, I mean, it's an advantage and disadvantage. It's an advantage is where there isn't many like me, so it's kind of like I stand out. But it's a disadvantage where there isn't anybody like me, so they're not like, oh, okay, like he's from here, and you know, typically in the past, all these people from here, they're known to be really good rappers, so we'll just think of him as a really good rapper. Like, no, they're kind of like, oh, who's this guy from K-pop? You think you can rap? All right, go ahead, rap. It's like I have to like really prove myself. But you know, in hip hop, it's like you just gotta put in that work. You know, you gotta really show and prove, and so that's what I'm been doing. That's what I'm ready to do. I don't expect anybody to just because I am who I am in Korea to all of a sudden just be like, oh yeah, you know, and show me love and all of a sudden give me acknowledgement. Like, I'm ready to put in that work and stay true to myself and the culture. You know. I definitely do think that, you know, the interviewers, they kind of like really count me out, but I like that. I've always been the underdog wherever I go, whether it be the Korean music industry, whether it be living here as an Asian dude, whether it be in hip hop, I'm always the underdog, and so I feed off that. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Hi, my name is Tisha.
How you doing?
Good. So I just wanted to know, you talked about American influences in your music, but what about the Korean side to that? Are there any Korean artists that have influenced your style?
Yeah, of course. You know, everybody from, you know, Tiger JK to, I remember back in the day listening, the first Korean hip hop song I listened to when I landed in Korea was Double K. So Double K, and then when I met Doki and the Quiet and the In there, that really changed my life. I was like, whoa, I didn't know that people in Korea did this type of music. And so that's what kind of really opened my eyes, like, yo, I could do what I want as well. Like, you know, they're doing it, why can't I do it? So it's like they gave me the courage and the inspiration to follow my sound and to do what I felt comfortable doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Hi, my name is Jen.
Hi.
I'm like really nervous though. But I just wanted to ask about a growing point of controversy aimed against Asian community in general. So, especially in like K-pop, there's kind of an issue where Black culture is adopted and even like appropriated.
Yeah.
For example, like in a lot of K-pop music videos, you'll see like dreadlocks or cornrows.
Yeah.
And to a more extreme extent, there's also like blackface. So I was wondering, like, as someone in the entertainment industry, like, how do you navigate like appreciation for a culture versus like appropriation?
I mean, it has to be authentic. You really have to appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, are you just doing it to make money, or are you really about it? You you know. And I think people who are authentic can tell other people are authentic. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's weird. It's funny. Like even with the cornrows and the dreadlocks thing, it's kind of like I heard there's like way back in the day, like Chinese people first did like braids, and so it's kind of like if you really break it down, like, but I don't know. I don't research it like that. I do it because I think it looks cool. You know what I'm saying? That's it. There's no other. I'm not trying to, you know, emulate. I'm not trying to, you know, disrespect anybody. I just think it looks cool with my face and this hairstyle, and that's why I do it. You know, it's like even with Nicki Minaj and the Chun-Li thing. You know, I'm sure it's like I think she got a lot of backlash for that, but I thought it was cool. Like, you know, she made Asian girls look sexy, and they did the dance and everything, and even with Lil Uzi Vert, he did like an anime video, and the Migos with their stir fry. It's like, so it's like right now, it's like it's inevitable because we all live in this world together. So obviously we're gonna be influenced by each other. It's inevitable. Like just like if I grow up with this person, he's gonna influence me. I'm gonna influence him. Not that you're him. But you know, it's just inevitable. So I think that's what it is. But you can't do it in a disrespectful, distasteful way. You know, there's a very thin line for that. And so it's like that's just something you got to figure out yourself. You know? Yeah, for sure.
Hi Jay.
Hey.
My name's Suzanne.
Okay.
I have a personal question for you.
Okay.
So I was at your Soldier single release party in New York like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And I noticed like there's a lot of fans that are like get really rowdy and they start touching you, and grabbing you.
Yeah.
And, like the situation gets really hectic out
Yeah.
there. So I just wonder how you like keep your cool. How do you maintain good showmanship?
I mean, as long as they don't grab below the belt, you know, it's cool. But you know, it's just kind of like, you know, when you perform as an entertainer, you know, of course, when you perform in front of fans, you know, they feel the energy. They get rowdy. They get excited. And it's like they want to like, you know, be up there with you. They want to like, So I was like, of course, it's not in a ill-mannered way. You know, it's not like they try to hurt me or try to like tear off my nipple or something. You know, it's like it's like they're doing it in a flattering way. And as long as it doesn't, you know, go over a certain, you know, line, I'm good with it. You know.
Thank you.
So I think we have time for one more question. Is that no? 5 more questions? Okay, 5 more questions. And so I'm really sorry to the people in the back, but yeah, let's next.
Hi, my name is Rose.
Hey.
I have a question. Do you have any advice for seriously aspiring musical talents?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like the only advice I have is just to, you know, just keep pushing. It's like, you know, it might not happen right away, and people might not believe in your vision, but and also it's like if you just want to do it to, you know, be like a celebrity or to be well known, then I don't know if it's gonna work out for you. You know, feel me? Like you really have to be obsessed with what you're doing. Like you have to be obsessed with it. Like if you look at all the greats, they live, eat, and breathe it, and there's no other way. It's like you really gotta live, eat, and breathe it. It's like it's not just to, you know, look pretty in front of the camera and to have fans and what, like that's cool, but that's not what you're doing it for. You're doing it for because you really love it. You gotta really love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey.
I think today we talked so much about like how confident you are and how fearless you are.
Yeah.
But I was wondering like what you're scared of and what you.
I'm scared of everything. I'm not fearless. I'm not, you know, I know how to take risks, but it doesn't mean that I'm fearless. You know, I know how to take risks, you know, and I just don't get attached to sales and like I get attached to it only in a certain way, like but only, you know, this much. If I get attached to it all the way, then when I lose it, it breaks me down mentally and whatever. But you know, just things that aren't, if you really look at it, aren't that important. Like I'm just like, okay, I just love it only so much. You know what I'm saying? What was the initial question? I forgot my bad. What was it?
What are you scared of?
Oh, what am I scared of? I'm scared of flying. I don't really like flying. Whenever the plane, I fly a lot. I don't really like flying. Yeah, I don't know. I'm scared of a lot of things. I don't know. I'm just scared of like spiders and snakes and whatever. I don't know. Just whatever.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Hi, I'm Izzy.
Hey.
So you said that when you first started your label, you were hoping that you wouldn't go bankrupt, but
Yeah.
now it's one of the most successful hip-hop labels in Korea.
Thank you.
So what do you think was like the turning point? Do you think it's like a specific way you marketed yourself that led to the success?
No. Just because like, you know, we didn't really do anything. Like the easiest way to market yourself is to be controversial. You know what I'm saying? And that's not what we do. We just kind of do what we do. We stay true to ourselves. We let the work speak for itself. And we try to, go on various platforms to, market ourselves and to spread the word. And I think the turning point was probably, I think it was Loco, to be honest. Just because he's a dick. And no, I'm just playing. No, Loco, I think that what is it? What's it? Hold Me Tight. Hold Me Tight, the first single he put out at AOMG. We're like, hopefully it gets on the charts, and then it did really well, and that, and then, partnering up with Simon D, and then me and Loco going on Show Me the Money, and yeah, just like a few turning points where we got more exposure and people started noticing us, yeah.
오빠 잘생겼어요.
감사합니다.
She wanted to say that, that's why.
That was a real question.
Hi, my name is Hyun, and I was wondering, out of all those years that you've been a performer, like, what was the most memorable experience for you?
2 days ago, just because it was so recent. I mean, all my performances are memorable, but there's so many, and it's kind of like my life moves very fast, so I kind of forget things fast. Just because I'm always on the go. I haven't taken time yet to be like, and just kind of like think about different things and to let it all sink in. So right now it's just like the last performance is the most memorable one. Yeah. 감사합니다.
So I think this is our last question. I know people are emptying out not because they don't like you, but because they have
Yeah, I was
class.
trying to get sad.
So I think this is our last question.
Hi, I'm Jade.
Hey.
I just want to ask, if you never entered the music industry and you were to
Do something
go on a
else?
path that like a lot of us are, like 18, entering to college,
Yeah.
what major would you have studied?
First of all, I wouldn't have gotten to college. Right now. With those grades, no. My best shot would have probably been to just go to community college and to transfer. What would I have studied? Probably business, just because it's like, I wasn't really, at that time, I was like really into breakdancing, so I wanted to be like a b-boy. And so I didn't really want to be anything else. I didn't want to be like a cop or a scientist or a lawyer or whatever. So I would have just probably did business just because it's a safe thing to do. It's good to know business, I guess. I assume.
Happy to do the last question.
Oh, I was just kidding. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can take a couple more. Let's go. I mean, there's only like 2 more.
I'm Caitlin.
Hey.
First, I want to say your music got me through nursing, so thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Quick question is mostly since you were born in Seattle, but you went to Korea when you were so young.
Yeah.
What's easier? Is it easier to one language more than the other when you make music? What comes more naturally?
I mean, right now it's definitely easy to do it in English still, just because my vocabulary in English is much bigger than Korean. But I've been writing in Korean for like 8 years now, and I've written more songs in Korean than I have in English. So I feel like it's like 50-50 right now. Yeah.
Do you dream in Korean or English?
Do I what?
You dream in Korean?
I dream in both. I actually dream in Spanish, which is. I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'll make it quick for people waiting, but I hope this doesn't come up in the wrong way.
Yeah.
But what motivated you to come to Penn and speak with us? I mean, I am a huge fan. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
But like, why?
It's to answer that question that you just asked. That's what motivated me. No. So I mean, the thing is that I was already in Philly, you know. I mean, I was doing MIA while I'm here. This came in, like, why not, you know?
Well, so if it weren't for MIA, you would have.
I mean, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. There's a lot of universities that want me to come and speak and do these type of things, and it's like you know, I'm very busy doing this and that, like you heard earlier. So it's kind of, I can't really fly all like 12 hours just to come speak for an hour and then just fly all the way back. Feel me? So like while I'm out here, like, you know, I'll show some love and we'll do this and it's fun.
Thanks for coming out here.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
Hey Jay, so I'm Emily. I've been a fan since 2008, and
Wow.
over this decade,
That's when you were like 6. That's crazy.
you've been a very accomplished dancer, producer, singer, rapper, and all these other things. Is there anything you're not talented at?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I can't cook. I'm horrible at video games. Yeah, it's not that I'm talented. I just work hard at, you know, things that I like, and then I get to a certain level. It's not that I just have this natural born talent, you know. There's a lot of people that are much more talented than me.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
And with that, thank you so much, Jay. If you guys could all help me in thanking Jay for his time.
We good? All right, cool.
You're good to go.
All right, cool.
See
Thank you
ya.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for having me, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys next time. So I'm gonna take a mic, or should I take it with me?
Take it home. Take it home.